That is happening through the court. I've sat in cases where you find that a person is accused and is still a university student or a scholar. And then he says he's going to be writing exams, like for instance today, up to the end of the week. And then the judge would, for uncompassionate reasons, would say, okay, fine. We'll postpone this case until you have written your exams. And in this case, also, this is on compassionate reasons. I know there are people who come and say, hey, this constitution, aina Ubuntu. You know the principles of Ubuntu. The first judge to write about this was the late Chief Justice Langa. You've read those cases where he extols the principles of Ubuntu.
Yes.
Yeah, if you are black and you are humane and you subscribe to the principle of Ubuntu, there's a person who is supposed to write exams, and then your conscience, what does it tell you? Is it fair for him to give evidence today, write exams, give evidence, write exams, give evidence, write exams, and thereafter he's cross-examined? Fine, no problem. What does your sense of justice tell you, or compassionate, or humaneness? For me, but I'll go along with what you are saying should happen. If you say he must come and give evidence, fine.
Well, that's precisely the points that we discussed yesterday, my lord, that perhaps on compassionate as
on compassionate
grounds, that consideration be given to allowing him to write, to sit for his exams and finish. And experience has taught us in our student days that it's difficult to divide your attention.
It's obvious.
When you're dealing with the exams, but
So you say he's coming at 2?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
He might be here a bit earlier. But in the meantime, my lord, my colleagues...
How many days is he writing anyway? How many days?
We'll be consulting.
How many days is he writing?
As I indicated yesterday, my lord, it's several days. I think it's about 6 days.
6 days.
But he indicated that some of the modules are what they call portfolios that require you to do research and then prepare. And he says it's only those modules, my lord, that require the portfolios, that require more time, that he will then request more time on. So he was going to then come back to us and indicate which ones are modules, which ones will require more time on the basis that they are modules. And perhaps when he comes here, he will then give us
this court is compassionate. I waited for a witness for 1 year. 1 year. Mr. Potgieter, is it Mr. Petersen? For him to be consulted by the counsels and for him to be present so that the cross-examination of that witness, Mangena, could begin. Because it's the right thing to do. So, with...
I also make submissions.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not so sure what the state has told the court is exactly what transpired yesterday.
They haven't told me anything. They told me everything here. That's why I wasn't here when you spoke. Everything Mr. Baloyi tells me, I hear it in court, not in passages.
And that is the reason why I'm saying, my lord, I'm not so sure whether what transpired around Mr. Brigadier Gininda's availability to come testify has been properly conveyed to the court. So, but nonetheless, let me take the opportunity to inform the court what it
Okay, fine, yeah.
Apparently yesterday, when we were adjourned, and that is what I'm told by my colleague, I wasn't party to that. Mr. Gininda was here. Not really here.
Not really here.
I would appreciate if the court to really give me a hearing in as much as it did when the state was.
No, but you say he was here, then you say he was not really here. I want to understand not really here.
What I'm saying is, as that conversation was happening, I was not part of that conversation. So what happened is, and my colleague will come and amplify that. It is only a groundwork. They called him and they put him on a speakerphone. They indicated to him, and there was a conversation around his availability to come testify. He indicated that he does not have a problem to come testify and be given an opportunity a day before he writes an examination to go and prepare. That was the arrangement yesterday. As I'm saying, my colleague, glad for the accused and the state to come amplify that. So then all of a sudden, all of a sudden today, hardly 18 hours, he comes, or there is information that comes from the state to the effect that he says he prefers to go through his examination to write and finalize his examination before he comes and testify. But there's a different dimension again, my lord, in this instance. In as much as I hear the court is a compassionate court, there's nothing wrong with that. But that should also be understood, my lord, around the background that Mr. Gininda is doing part-time studies. He knew when he got himself involved in studying that he's a policeman. May I finish, man? I'll give the court time to ask questions and then I'll have to respond. Because if I start to talk and then the court start to say no, I'm getting disturbed and discouraged. I don't know whether what I'm saying makes sense or not. Because if it doesn't make sense, I don't want to waste the court's time. But basically what I'm saying, my lord, is Mr. Gininda knew what he was getting himself to when he decided to go and apply for studies. He knew that he's in a public service. He's a policeman. He knew that there will be instances where he will have to go and write his examination. And the protocol in a public service, a person that is writing examination, my lord, is only is given a day or two to go and prepare his studies, on the understanding that throughout the year he has been preparing for his studies. It is for the first time that I will hear that a person is given almost a month to go write his studies to go and write his examination and be absent from work. Basically what is happening with Mr. Gininda, he is requesting that he should be absent from work. I'm not so sure whether there's an application for a leave of absence that has been lodged with his employer, which is South African Police Services, or he only has got to be absent from court here for purposes of his evidence. I'm not so sure that if that is the case. But nonetheless, my lord, it is not only about Mr. Gininda, it's also about us as well. The court will also understand that we are running private practices. We have been requested on a number of occasions to postpone our cases that we have been involved or that we are involved in other cases. We have been requested on a number of occasions, my lord, that we should no longer take other cases that are going to have an effect in this matter. And we have done that. Now, if we are told that we have got to wait, and I've done that. There are cases that I was supposed to be receiving, and I've told attorneys that I am still busy with that case. I'm unable to assist. Can you please put those cases in abeyance? But now, if we're going to be told that this court is going to be compassionate, and I'm not saying that the court should be compassionate with Mr. Gininda's request, but if compassion is what it's supposed to be, then the court should also understand that that compassion as well should be extended to us as well as we are running our private practices. It is very sad, my lord, that when we requested to share all the work that we should be attending to and concentrate on this case, but then there's a soul who is given almost a month to go and attend to their own issues. I'm not saying that is wrong, but what I'm saying, my lord, is in that vein, there won't be anything that is going to stop me from actually requesting those attorneys to bring back those cases and then I start to attend to them. And when time for me comes for Mr. Gininda to come and then I come and tell the court that I'm unable to attend because I'm finishing these cases. And I'm not trying to hold this court at ransom.
Yeah, okay, fine, no problem.
Excuse me, madam.
I say no problem. You're not holding me to ransom.
Yes.
Are you through, sir?
I'm not done.
Okay, fine.
Yes. There's also a question of a timetable. We haven't seen this timetable. Mr. Maloyi was suggesting that we should come and see the court in privacy, but we also need to, it's just a paper that has been floated around here. We don't know whether the information that is contained in that paper is a true reflection of what is happening in that timetable.
Okay.
Excuse me. Excuse me. There's also, it's a whole of a dynamic thing, man. It's not only about the word of mouth that comes from the state and requesting on behalf of Mr. Gininda that he should be excused from attending this court for almost a month. Another thing, it is also in the interest of this accused person. They are entitled to a speedy trial. Once Mr. Gininda, there was no reason for the state at the beginning to have dealt with the testimony of Mr. Gininda. At some point, this case had to be postponed for almost 2 to 3 weeks with no witness that was available. Then the question that begs this court is why at that time could Mr. Gininda not have been called to come and testify? Then the state comes and tells this court that no, they would have wanted him to come and testify because he would have come here to summarize everything. What is that, man? Because basically, there is nothing new that Mr. Gininda would have said then that would be a different thing that is going to say the time when it comes to testify. There's basically nothing wrong. Nothing new. It is therefore, my Lord, very sad, very sad indeed, that we'll have to wait for another 2 to 3 weeks, almost a month. It's actually over a month that Mr. Gininda should come and testify. Because when he comes back, I'm told that he's writing allegedly, because I haven't seen the official timetable. Allegedly, his last day of his examination is on the 26th of November. That is 15 November. 15 November is almost towards the end of the fourth quarter. Okay, that is 25 November, yes.
All right.
That is basically the end of the fourth quarter. We may as well postpone this case to next year. To next year. And if that is going to be the case, my Lord, I'm going to request compassionately so that I be allowed to continue with the work that I've taken back to the attorneys up until such time that I am also ready to come back to court. And most probably that is going to be at the second quarter of the year. Thank you.
Any person wants to add anything?
As the court pleases, my Lord, let me begin by saying, yesterday during the adjournment that we were accorded, Advocate Maloyi took out his phone and indeed put Mr. Gininda on the speaker so that myself, Mr. Ngomezulu, Advocate Ngumalo, Advocate Mushololo could be privy to that conversation. And at heart of what he said, my Lord, he said he's also compassionate for this case. He wants to put this case first, the accused persons first, on the proviso that prior to a day of his writing, he's given that day. And we agreed, and that's in accordance with the itinerary of our schedule that we were given previously. So that's an adherence to that.
So you had an agreement?
Yes, that was the agreement. So for him to say today, now preference is for him to finish on the 15th or 25th of November. Sets us back, my lord, in so many respects.
Fine.
As the court pleases, my
Yes,
lord.
Mr. Mamalo?
My lord, I confirm what has been said by my colleague. Yes, thank you.
My lord, I am the one, my lord, who spoke to Brigadier Gininda over phone yesterday, and we agreed that he was going to avail himself on the days when he is not writing examinations, and then he will only ask to be excused a day before the date of the examinations. So we'll be given dates in pairs of the examinations. And then I asked him for the timetable. He said he has given it to Advocate Baloyi. I said, we haven't seen it. We're not even sure whether we'll be writing those exams. I asked him also if the study leave for such dates have been approved by the employer. He said he will also send that information to us. My lord, my submission is that it will be unfair, my lord, to excuse this witness for the entire duration of 14 October to 25 November. Because that will mean that the witness will be excused even on the days when he will not be sitting writing down the examinations. And that will be contrary to the study leave that has been approved by the SAPS, because he has not been granted leave from 14 October to 25 November. And therefore, he is not entitled not to come and testify in this court when he is not on leave. He is only entitled to not to be in court on the dates when he is on study leave. Those are my submissions, my lord, that this will also cause a delay in the finalization of this case. Also, my lord, I would also like to add and put to the attention of the court that we have been informed of our judge president's intention that he intends this matter not to be delayed. We have been instructed as defense counsels to take away our work. I have an order of course against me when I was not in the court where I should be, and I had to attend this court and the order was granted against me. My lord, therefore it is my submission that it should not be whether Gininda feels he will be able to attend or not. It should be the order of the court that Gininda comes and testifies on the days when he is not on study leave. That's my submission, my lord. That will be the fairness that will be done in this court. Above that, my lord, Gininda is the investigating officer in this case. He knew long time ago that he was going to come and testify. He knew that his examinations were set down for November. He ought to have indicated to the state and requested to come and testify before the term of his examination comes. He decided to stay and let other witnesses testify. We have started this case from the beginning of this year. He should have come and testified, my lord, in order for him to be excused during the period of his examination. And therefore, my lord, I object even before he placed the application before this court that he be excused on the days when he is not writing, or on the days when he is not sitting down for his examinations.
So he mustn't be excused even on the day he's not right.
No.
He's writing.
My lord, he must be excused only on the days when he is writing, and also a day before or when he is writing examination.
Yes, sir.
Those are my submissions, my lord.
I
confirm
You confirm the arrangements.
arrangement, my colleague. Can I just respond, my lord, if I can? I don't know if I mentioned this, but let me mention it now, my lord, that in light of the fact that this witness who is due to testify was traced, Brigadier Gininda then felt that we can then carry on with this witness. he's basically not available for the whole of next week in terms of his exam timetable, except the 17th and the 18th. So depending on how long this witness will take, the witness might take us into sometimes next week. In which case, my lord, that will then overlap with his exam study. But I did mention that he was then going to, in addition to the days that he's giving us, to check which ones require more time, the portfolios. And my suggestion is, my lord, that we have to now determine as to whether the state will be allowed to lead this evidence, and depending on the outcome, we can then take it from there. I mean, if, for argument's sake, if the state is allowed to proceed with the witness, that should occupy us for some few days to come, my lord.
Okay, I wasn't aware that there was an agreement which was actually entered into between the state, the defense, and Brigadier Gininda. There was an agreement, in other words.
Well, as I mentioned, that was before this witness was
fine,
traced.
but
Yes,
there was an agreement.
Yes, that I confirm.
Then it absolves my compassion, because there was an agreement. So Mr. Gininda, Brigadier Gininda should come and testify, as agreed amongst yourselves. Is that okay?
As a court please, but that will then depend on the
Depends
outcome.
on nothing.
On the outcome of the.
You can't say
Yes.
depends.
Yes.
Because if you were to talk about it depends on
Yes.
this witness being bitten by a bulldog.
No. What I'm saying is,
I hear you.
depending on the outcome
I
of
hear you.
the judgment,
Yeah.
Gininda will then testify after this witness.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay. The court will then adjourn. We don't have to come back at 2.
As the court pleases, my lord.
The client wants to see you.
May I approach you?
Should we adjourn or wait for your client?
Can you wait for a few minutes? Thank you, my lord, for the interruptions. My lord, the instruction is about the ID of accused number 1, the identity document of accused number 1.
I thought you guys were handling it.
The ID document is here with Sergeant Mukhola, and there
Where's
was
Sergeant Mokhol? She's not here today.
she was here with us. We saw even the identity document.
Yeah, so
Then we had a discussion with my colleague, Mr. Baloy, Advocate Baloy, to the fact that if the state is inclined to hand up, let it be through the order of the court and place certain conditions.
haven't you agreed that you are going to...
That is not the agreement.
Yeah,
The
that's
agreement
not-
is that we have a certified copy of the identity document.
Yeah.
We show them the original and a certified copy and said, for the purpose of applying for NSFAS by accused number 1's children, they just need a certified copy, which we have offered to them, but they are refusing to take that certified copy. They want the original. And we said there's nowhere where they insist on a person's original document where the person himself is not there. A certified copy is always sufficient, which we can give to them now. Actually, there are 2 certified copies, my lord.
My lord, it's not only about NSFAS. If the family wants to use the ID, they visit the accused at Modapi, they want the original document wherever they want to use it. So we can't keep on making certified copies. If the original is here and the state has no reason to keep it, because it has been made clear that they want to hand it over based on the conditions that he must not dispose of that identity until this matter is finally. That's the impression I got from Advocate Baloyi. Yes, and the investigations are complete. The matter is in the middle of a trial.
Where's Mr.
My Lord, without belaboring the point, and we're sorry to burden the court with this matter, I thought we have reached an agreement. We indicated to them that we are offering them a certified copy, and we'll have further discussions with the investigating team to see if it is safe to give the ID document back to accused number 1, and depending on whether it is safe to do so, if it is safe, then it will be a formal process where the state will put in record that the exhibit is being handed back to the accused, and the request that the accused should keep it until the finalization of the case. That is normal. That is the normal position. So what should happen now is they should. We've offered them the certified copy, and pending the outcome of those discussions, they have the certified copy, my Lord.
Okay, so you let me know tomorrow then.
Yeah, as the court pleases.
Okay, the court will adjourn then.